Hey, it's me, Uncle Ricky. Look, I don't want to, but I have to because it's relevant. I got to talk about Donald Trump one more time. And I probably will again, but I wish I didn't have to. Now, the thing is, it seems that, Trump has been miles ahead of Joe Biden in the polls. And it's not that Joe Biden has clearly beat Trump in any of the polls, but for the first time since this election season became relevant, and they've been tracking Biden versus Trump in the polls, Trump is only beating Biden by the margin of error, or the poll is within the margin of error. In other words, Biden could actually be beating Trump statistically, just because of the way they crunch and do the analytics for the poll. Now, why is this such an important thing? One, because it indicates that Joe Biden is gaining ground, a lot of ground on Trump. And two, it indicates that perhaps more independent and unsatisfied or dissatisfied Republican voters are starting to see the light that if you make Trump your nominee and he actually wins the election, there is no more democracy in America. Trump has already said it, and he's doubling down on his efforts to topple democracy daily in most of his court filings. First of all, he's got, it appears, allegedly, maybe, possibly, maybe, that's not a word. But anyway, I'm an old guy, and without my teeth, I might say anything. But maybe the judge, Judge Canon, down in Florida, uh, is doing everything she can to disrupt and hopefully, by her efforts, dismiss or sway or make the case just so crazy that even if he's found guilty, Trump will be able to appeal and just, you know, she's willing to sacrifice her career as a federal judge for Donald Trump, and Donald Trump did appoint her to that position. So 2 plus 2 probably still equals 4, and perhaps Judge Canon, even she's proven to be like a lot of other Trump Confederates, lawyers and uh, you know advisors. She's a Looney Tune, allegedly. Now, the other 3 cases, it's Trump's hemorrhaging, and he's probably going to get convicted uh, in the state case in Georgia, which he most might probably get jailed because he keeps threatening individuals that have nothing. I'm not going to say they have nothing against them, but they're only doing their jobs. And so far, it doesn't seem that they are operating outside of the box. They are staying within the confines of the rules and the laws that govern the prosecution of anyone, including a former president of the United States. If anything, they are giving Trump more leeway because he should have been gagged or jailed for violating the gag orders that he's already been given. You don't get put on trial, awaiting trial. It's okay, if you want to plead your innocence. It's okay if you want to maybe put your case out into public purview, trial by public media or whatever. But it's not okay to openly threaten and openly disparage all of the people that are involved in the trial, from the judge to the prosecutor to the prosecutor's staff to the judge's staff, even cops that are or bailiffs that are involved in just being there. They're just doing their job, man. They're not your enemies. They're just doing their job. But Trump is just like he riled up the January 6th crowd, and I gotta say allegedly, even though we all knew what we saw, we all know what we heard, we all know what we read, well, some of us read, pre and post January 6th. He's doing the same thing and pointing his personal ire at different individuals, and he's using his dog meat eating followers to do it. But this is wearing thin. The case in DC for actually basically starting an insurrection that could have very well put him back into power when he didn't deserve it, because he lost a vetted, free and fair election. Even in Republican states, Republican secretaries of state have said that there was if there was any fraud, and every election has some fraud, there was not enough significant verifiable fraud to overturn the results of any state's election. And all the people, all the minions, all the king's men and crazy ass women, cracking lady, whatever, crazy ass men, Mr. Clark, Mr. Eastman, with all their crazy ass theories that have really, they may have minor foundation, if you interpret the Constitution loosely. They have no bearing. There's been there were 60 cases in the election fraud case, and a lot of the judges were Republicans. Some of them were even Trump appointees, and they said, why are you wasting the court's time? This makes no damn sense. Now, he's 0 for 60. 0 for 60. And he's still running off at the mouth. He's still trying to relive 2020. He's still calling for punishment for his enemies. He's already vowed that he's going to put Jack Smith, the federal prosecutor, the special prosecutor that was appointed by the Attorney General, because he's too chicken to do this himself. Allegedly. But anyway, Trump proverbially does not have a leg to stand on, and the leg that he is trying to stand on is wooden, made out of termite infested wood. His position, his foundation is crumbling every day. People are tired of the election lies. People with a half a brain, because there's always going to be those, and I don't want to say they're stupid, I'm just going to say they are mentally defective, maybe, because they won't believe the truth. They won't believe the mountains of evidence against Trump, but yet and still they will latch on to every foul word that comes out of Trump's mouth. And this is what makes the cult dangerous, because they've already proven that they have the ability to act like maniacs and do foul things, not only just take a dump in the halls of Congress, but physically lash out to punish people that they perceive as Trump's enemies. And it doesn't take a lot to perceive it when Trump is saying, these are my enemies. Now, as far as future, if Trump becomes president, and I think this is probably the biggest turnoff to people that still exercise a modicum of sanity, and are maybe able to come to a logical conclusion that everybody can't be lying, even though Trump labels anybody that says anything against him that used to be with him as a rhino. They are starting to see that if Trump comes to power, and Trump isn't hiding anything, he's already, he filed a motion in court that basically said that you can't hold me off of the ballot. You can't eliminate me from the ballot from the 14th Amendment, due to the 14th Amendment clause that says anybody that's an elected official that has taken an oath to protect and defend the Constitution that is caught being actively involved in a insurrection against that said government, being the United States, cannot run for federal office, cannot be on the ballot in any state. And Trump's lawyers, his lawyers, the people that are supposed to be getting him out of this mess, or all of the messes combined, filed a motion saying that president, even though he isn't the president, he likes being called that, and that just shows that even his lawyers are part of the cult. It's not just about the money, because half of them aren't even getting paid, according to, like Elena Haba. But his lawyers filed a motion saying that Mr. Trump believes that he never swore to support the Constitution. So how can he be liable for violating an amendment in the Constitution, i.e. the 14th Amendment? How deep and how wide is this rabbit hole? Because every day Trump's already in there and he's tumbling to the bottom, but he's trying to suck the entire nation behind him. Every day a new lie has been unraveled to go on top of, I think, he told like some in the tens of thousands of lies when he was president of the United States. And sometimes he just lied because they don't really know the reason why he lied. He just lied because he's a liar. But if you put this man as mentally unstable and as really intellectually unqualified as he is to be the president of the United States again, and he has already told you that he is going to squash the Constitution. He's already told you he's going to deport people by the tens of millions. He's already told you that he's going to lock up who he perceives as his political enemies without due cause. How do you expect the United States that you know, to survive the day after he raises his right hand? He's already told you, day one, Congress is not going to matter. It's going to be ruled by executive order. He's already said that, I'm not going to listen to anybody. Let the Supreme Court do what they want to do. But, what happens when I become president and take complete power and just say the Supreme Court is nullified? As many conservative, ultra-right-wing people, 3 of them that he put on the court, did his bidding, but now they're waking up to the fact that if we continue to do his bidding, he's not going to need us if he comes in a second time. See, it's to the point that Donald Trump was always an enemy to democracy, was always an enemy to the nation. But now, because he's always been bold and brash and announced all the foul shit that he was going to do before he attempted to do it, everybody's starting to wake up to the fact that, you know what, he's going to do it to us too. And the Supreme Court has always exercised so much power, so much control from, let's say, a third hand or a tertiary basis. In other words, everything that Congress didn't act on, everything that Congress didn't put down in black and white, everything that Congress didn't make a law, or every law that Congress has made that favored let's say, people that that they consider the ultra right wing conservatives consider less than and have no value outside of being an underpaid worker bee working until they drop, because we're not going to give them any health care, and we're going to do everything that we can to get inside of their day-to-day lives and oppress the shit out of them, and even to the point where women don't have any control over their own bodies, because we are ultra-right conservatives. We want a theocratic democracy. But see, you can say democracy because they misuse the term, because they're going to get it to where all of the elections, federal and perhaps even to the state level, if they have enough time, the only people who are going to be voting are going to be people just like them. So now the only argument is, what candidate do the far right-wing nuts choose? Everybody else is going to be eliminated on one basis or another, and it's going to be made knowledge that as long as Trump is in the White House and you speak out against anything far right-wing conservative, you're speaking out against Trump, and according to his plans, you potentially will wind up like people like Jack Smith. He intends to lock him away in an insane asylum. He intends to indict every member of the Biden family, regardless of whether they have evidence to indicate that they should be indicted. The Republicans in Congress have been they've had this indictment inquiry going on for now, and every time they go public with anything trying to excite the public, put people on their side, thereby putting people on Trump's side, it has blown up in their silly ass faces. It's not going. This election is more than a choice between a decrepit old guy that actually may be pretty much as much of a good guy as we're going to get in this election cycle, i.e. Joe Biden, against evil, the Mr. Chaos. He's openly said on several occasions, I like chaos. Chaos benefits me. Doesn't say that chaos benefits the country. It benefits him. It's a thing between somebody that's trying to reduce the national debt, fight inflation, and create jobs in a nation that gave away all of its jobs, and has actually established, out of all the industrialized countries, G3, G7, G20, whatever, the leading money makers in the world, we got the best economy. Even though, I can't really say that, but I'm starting to feel it. Of course it's going to, even, in a so-called democracy, capitalism is going to rule. The people on the bottom are going to feel the negative first and the positive last. But Trump's not even saying that. It's all for me and mine and who I say gets what. And the rest of y'all can kiss my mango ass. That's Donald John Trump. That's what we're looking at. And if you know anything about history, if you go back in history, the parallels between Trump and Hitler, Trump and Mussolini are glaring. It's amazing. It's almost scary. But the difference now in 2023 vice 1933, the people still have a voice. They haven't really gotten a complete grip over the electoral system, which is why Trump isn't the president now. And we have one more opportunity to put Trump away so that he can be put in a cage like he wants to put children of illegal migrants. Trump deserves to be in jail, and believe it or not, the feeling in the country is starting to sway that way because people are actually starting to understand how dangerous he is. It's not about just, conservative rich people or conservative white right. It's about a maniac being in charge of the United States of America, purposely running the train off the track and destroying all the stops that are in his way. Something to think about, something to meditate on, something to contemplate. But it is showing that the majority of the people in the United States, no matter how much they want to make America great or how much they want to take us back to, let's say, 1963, 1965, leave it to Beaver days, they know that it's not going to happen with Trump because Trump is going to take this country in a direction that it was never intended to go. Well, that's it for me, Uncle Ricky. Glad if you watch this, hey, watch it for a little bit more than 30 seconds, get my view time up, Hey, if you see the ad, click on it. Give me 30 seconds of your time. It might lead to you giving me all the time that, this video. It might lead to you. I'm not saying you gotta agree with me, but it might. What I'm saying might stick in your head long enough to make you change your mind, or either become more fortified in your opinion that Donald Trump cannot have an opportunity to enter the White House again. But until then, and whatever happens next November or in between, peace out and God bless from Uncle Ricky at Uncle Ricky's house.